LaKoya Banks, so happy to be with you today. How are you?
Hey, I won't complain. That's my standard response for
Complain-
2025.
Complaining doesn't change anything.
Right.
Okay, so you are a monumental person. One, you're a wife, a mother, an A&T grad, but you are a creator of spaces for so many different people. So, what experiences or personal challenges led you to create space where Black women can embrace their natural hair and also be able to connect with one another?
That's a great question, Megan. I was really inspired, I would say, when I moved to DC. So I'm from Greensboro, North Carolina, lived there, went to A&T, all the things, graduated, and got a job up here with the federal government. So I'm one of them feds. So pray for me. But anyways, but I moved up here, and I was just so inspired by the community here. Black women were doing amazing things. They were creating spaces. They were, it was my first like natural hair care event that I went to when I moved to DC. And then when I got the opportunity, I was building an audience, and I would also say building connection with different brands. Then I was like, I want to create a space for Black women. And then Love the Hair You Wear was born. And my inspiration was really, I think, moving to DC, as well as just seeing Black excellence and seeing that it could be done. So
And you've been creating Love the Hair You Wear is 10 years old. You've been doing this for a decade now. What all has it required of you individually in the last 10 years?
it requires a lot of, I would say, my time, as well as my energy too. The great thing about an event is once you do it one time, if you don't have to reinvent the wheel. So it's just kind of putting the pieces back in place. But my life has significantly changed since 10 years ago. So now it does require more energy, being that I wear more hats. And I would also say the energy piece also is important because it takes energy to pitch yourself to different companies, put your ideas out there, and you're really asking for not only sponsorship, but it's my dream. It's things that I want to happen with Love the Hair You Wear. So when I pitch it to different companies and maybe it doesn't align with their vision that year, trying not to take that personal, but sometimes, it is like, why don't you see my vision? Why don't you want to support? So it requires energy. And during those times when I'm pitching, it's really important for me to have more self-care during that time, to be like, all right, girl, like, don't take this personal just because maybe somebody didn't answer your email, or, you know, they didn't respond to you back in a time that you want, a likely time that you felt like they should respond to you. So it's just a lot of more pouring into myself at that time to be like, I need to do more of the self-care tips.
Okay, so you got to take your own advice, huh?
Yes, yes, for sure.
Okay. And loving the hair you're with is really important to all women, but especially to Black women and women of color with textured hair. We are in a polarized socio-political climate. Over the last few years, we have seen things evolve in Black women and how they wear their hair in professional spaces. In this area and across the country, in certain states, we've seen the Crown Act pass. So, why is it so important to you to continue to do this work for people?
It's important to me, Megan, because I feel like when I love my hair, and this is just my experience, it's an extension of me and myself. And so that extends to me loving myself. So it's really important to continue to create that space for Black women so we can have a safe space to talk about all the different sides of hair care, because it's not always, sometimes I love my hair, but sometimes I'm over it. Sometimes I want to cut it all off. I'm like, I'm completely over this journey. I went through, even in the past year, I did some sew-ins and, was learning to try to take care of my hair in other ways, and experienced some damage. So some of my curls weren't as curly as the other parts that I was used to. And I say this hair care experience is a journey, because it's like, it's ever evolving, like me as a person. So, Creating the space is completely still necessary because there's all different parts of this journey. There's parts that you love, there's parts that you don't. And I think just being around Black women, there's like it's a power in that. So I think it continues to be very important. And I think now, I'm not going to say more so than ever, but I do want to say more so than ever. Perfect example, when we were at the WOC brunch in December, I felt so empowered and enriched after I left that experience. And I know a lot of women, when they come to Love the Hair You Wear, they have that same feeling. So all those things are why I continue to push forward.
You touched on it a little bit in that when you have an event from your inaugural event into making it a annual event, something that you continue to do for the last 10 years, how do you measure success of an event beyond just, the attend? What does Vakoya say that, ooh, this went well, this went right?
That's a great question because it can get really easy to get caught up in performance or metrics. For me, I go back to the why, which is and also for me, I go back and look at some of the past. We always do a recap video, right? So to see some of the energy that was in the room there, like that always empowers me to be like, yes, this was successful. As well as a lot of times the attendees that come, like they literally tell me, yo, I feel so filled up after coming to Love the Hair You Wear. And for me, that's been a big measure of success and always like why I was going to do it again. I think also a measure of success is being able to pivot for me. In 2022, the opportunity was presented to me to take Love the Hair You Wear to A&T. Before it had always had Love the Hair You Wear every summer here in DC. And that was the first opportunity to take it to an HBCU. And of course, from there, you need sponsorship in order to have the event be free to the students and all of the, I'll say, on-site activations that make it really appealing to the students to come. And that, I will say, because of that pivot, that's why Love the Hair You Wear is still around, because I don't think I would still be doing Love the Hair You Wear annually if it was a ticketed event that I felt like I had to. It takes energy to sell tickets, you know? And so success also is knowing when to pivot, I would say. So now we pivoted to A&T and want to expand to other HBCUs this year. And that is how Love the Hair You Wear is still around. We're going to do our 10-year anniversary brunch, which is going to be a ticketed event here in DC. But now I've had a couple of summers to kind of like have a break. So I'm excited about bringing it back. But if it was something I was trying to do every year and kind of be like, hey, y'all, come buy these tickets, I don't know that I would still be doing it, Megan. So
So you say, I hear how the journey has evolved from you, from one, your own personal hair journey, and two, being in a space where you're putting yourself out there in front of people, having an event where everyone can show up or no one can show up, but you've gotten past all of those jitters. If I am a person and I'm watching this and I'm thinking, well, I want to host an event and I want to have something, but I'm a little afraid, what advice would you give them to push them past their fears?
I would say do it scared anyway, because as long as you continue to prepare yourself for as much as you can, it's going to be some curveballs that come your way. And so you have to be prepared to be like, all right, I have to change what I thought was going to be my plan. But I say, plan it out as
Mm-hmm.
much as you can. What is your vision for the event that you're about to do? If it's your first event, you might not get as much buy-in as you would have hoped for, but do it scared, because we're all doing things scared anyway. As well as know that if it's an event, you're probably going to have to continue to tell people about it. The way that events, I think, were spread 10 years ago is way different than now. Like, 10 years ago, maybe your only marketing strategy was to put it on a social media platform, and that was how you let people know about it. Now, that may not be the best strategy, being that you can't control the algorithm. So you don't, that being your only means of letting people know about the event isn't going to, I think, get you as far as you would want it to go. So I'm really leaning into my email subscribers. I've been building that community. So I'm leaning into that, right? I'm leaning into giveaways. We're going to give away some tickets, like trying to create a real strategy instead of just saying, oh, I posted about it one time and nobody bought any tickets. That's not going to You know what I mean? It's really going to have to be something that you continue to work at and communicate about that it's available, and see what happens. Like, sometimes maybe what your vision is a bit different than what happens, and that's okay too. I've talked to a lot of other people that are in the same spaces as me, and that does happen sometimes where maybe you have a vision and it turns out to be a little bit different, but that doesn't mean that it's a failure. So do it scared. That would be my main thing. Prepare and do it scared.
So you had a vision where you were hoping that this event would be a sponsored event, and like you said, you had to pivot. But how do you navigate those relationships? If I'm thinking about wanting to have something that could be a sponsored event one day, how do you even go about finding the person who makes the decision to cut the check to sponsor an event? How did you even find those people?
Oh, that's a great question, Megan. Wow. And when you ask me that, I'm really thinking about it. I will say I have really drawn in. Sometimes it's been a cold pitch, and a cold pitch being that you got to do your research. You're looking on LinkedIn. You're looking on, I don't know, somebody's Instagram profile to, looking at the comments. Who are some of these people that are commenting on there? And they may or may not be in branding or in the partnership realm. And those are the titles that are really going to be important to reach out to and maybe get you in the right space. And when I say cold pitching works for some people. For some people, it doesn't. Like, it's going to be all a preference. I was talking to one of my contacts that I have that's actually helping out with the sponsorship this year. And we were talking, and she was like, I hate it when people email me and they don't know me. And I was like, oh, wow. Like, that's interesting because I've literally had some partnerships that have evolved into sponsorships, and I didn't have a relationship with the person before the cold pitch that I sent out. Say all that to say, it's preferences, and different people have preferences, but I have definitely had sponsorship from an event. It turned into dollars from me reaching out to somebody that we did not have a relationship before. And of course, when I say that, it wasn't instantaneous. It's something that grows, right? So if I reach out to you and then you respond, I try to form a relationship from that way. And that way, being Megan, like, if it does turn into maybe it's product sponsorship, right? Thank you for getting me products for this event. Around Christmas time, I might send you a Starbucks gift card to be like, hey, I was thinking about this year and how things happened, and you were one of the reasons that I was able to do X, Y, and Z. Or it might be around Valentine's Day that I reach out and be like, hey, I was thinking about you because you're about girl power. And I just wanted to say, hey, so relationships aren't just, I'm reaching out to you when I need something. It's, throughout the year, I'm reaching out in some capacity to kind of stay on their radar and to let people know that then I'm thinking about them. And I don't just think about them when I need products or when I need sponsorship for the event.
City in relationships is really important. So you show up as yourself, and then you see their response as time has gone by. Is there something you wish you knew sooner or still want to learn about creating relationships with potential sponsors?
I will say what's been working for me is that I am my authentic self when I am reaching out to people. And sometimes some of the people within your network are the people that believe in you the most and that are going to be willing to, vouch for you, because that's really what it comes down to. And I just really just try to lean into that and do my best, because then the other part that happens, Megan, is maybe I get a sponsorship for something and then I get a little bit nervous, like, am I going to live up to what it is that they need? So I'll say another important thing to ask for is, once you get that sponsorship, hey, what's a good return on investment for your company? Or, what is it exactly that you need, so that it's a mutual thing. It's not just you getting money from them and then you don't need them anymore. It's like, hey, how can we really make this relationship and make sure that it moves forward? So I started asking those questions, I think, in the past 2 years. What are the return on investments for some of the sponsors that are continuing to help Love the Hair You Wear move forward? I think also understanding that things change, right? And that's okay. But understanding that, like, the sponsorship maybe that I got last year, maybe it was amazing and everything was great, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to sponsor this year.
Love the Hair You Wear is 10 years old. Where is it going in
I
the
don't know.
next? Do you have a plan for it, or is it you're allowing it to just go where it goes?
Okay, so I have plans. I
Okay.
do. Next year, we actually have a plan to do something that we have never done before. And I'm excited about it. But I know that with all of that, that comes with collaborating with people that are well versed in that area, because that's important to be able to lean on people that are experts in when you're branching out to things that maybe you've never done before. So I have a plan, but I also am one of those people that is like, if that doesn't happen quite like I wanted it to, we even have a date, right? Like,
Mhm.
okay, gotta keep going. You know what I mean? So that, yeah, there are plans, but I'm also developing more of a personality to kind of be like, all right, if it don't go exactly as planned, that doesn't mean it's a failure. It doesn't mean that it'll never happen. It just means that now just wasn't the time. So when you asked, love to hear you were at 10. Really excited about our brunch. Really, really excited. It's coming together. And with that being a piece, I have a plan for next year for something that we've never attempted to do, but I've seen done. And I do think that it could be successful. And it's going to be in out North Carolina, my home state. So I'm excited about that. At the same time, I don't know what Love to Hear You Wear is doing in 2030, because I can barely, sometimes I don't know what day it is. You know what I mean? Like, I'm taking care of kids and stuff and trying to be a good wife and all that good stuff. So yeah, I do have plans for new ventures and new things, and hoping that they'll be successful. We'll see. I'm doing it scared, Megan.
Okay, you got to do it scared. As long as you do it, you got to, that's all that matters. Doing it scared, but doing it prepared. I think that's always, something that's really important to keep in mind. It doesn't mean just go out there and haphazardly do it, but
Right.
don't let the fear of it not going the way that you envision it stop you from even trying.
You
Um,
worded it perfectly.
okay, so I have another question for you. We've gotten the formal questions out of the way, but we need to know, Vakoya, what hair products do you use on your crown?
So I'm a pattern beauty girl. I am.
Okay.
And I know that it's different for different people. They recently, they have that Palo Santo line,
Uh-huh.
and it is doing like amazing things for my hair. As I also referenced though, I also like Camille Rose. I like they have this honey leave-in conditioner that just does a lot for my hair.
Okay.
Water though, and somebody explained it to me. Somebody explained it to me. They were like, if you're thirsty, not somebody, Mayavana is the company that they do like hair technology. And so they're able to literally, Megan, they can look at your curls and they can be like, this is your porosity level. And this is, these are some
All
products
these
that we
new
think it could work
words,
for.
right? We never
Yeah.
heard growing up.
Right, right. So, I went to one of their sessions and they were literally like, hey, if you were thirsty, would you drink some water or would you have a bottle of Crisco? And I was like, I would drink water. And they're like, that's how your hair is. Like you. So recently, whenever my hair looks dry or my curls are looking dry, I just spurse it up with some water, and that has really been helping. Of course, I have to put products on it. I can't just walk out the shower and it works. But as I mentioned earlier when we were talking, I have experienced some damage this year from I put in some sew-ins in my hair. I think when I saw you in December, I had in my sew-in, and it was
Hmm.
cute, girl. But I think the way I was trying to maintain it was not my natural curl pattern. So it stretched the rest of my hair. So I actually went in here and cut some of my hair.
I saw
So
the video, girl.
so
I saw it.
I like the puff, right? I
Uh-huh.
like the puff, but it's still a little bit of straight strands in there. So I'm still like managing and maintaining, and that's okay. Like I started my natural hair care journey in 2009. It's still a journey. It's still things that I'm learning about my hair. And one of them is that the next time I get a sew in, I think I need to get hair that is more like my hair. And maybe that's a little bit more research beforehand. But yeah, I know that it's really important for me to be able to love my curls like this instead of being like when I had in my sew in, it was amazing. Like the curls were voluptuous, but I realized when I was taking it out, I was like, where are my big curls? And I was like, okay, now I need to get back to the basics of loving my hair how it is as it grows out of my scalp, because that is really important to me, to love me as is.
Were you always a person who loved the hair that you have? Did you always love your hair, or is this something that was born out of something. Like, I know I didn't grow up ever wearing my natural hair out. You know, as little black girls, we go to the salon or somebody braids your hair and you wear those braids for a few weeks. Or, you know, if your
Yeah.
mama's, the kitchen beautician, and you got your
Mm.
same puffs for the week. And we have to kind of learn at an older age to even properly manage our hair. So, what's your story with how you came to love your hair?
So my story, and it's probably gonna sound a little ignorant, being that I really didn't even realize that there was any way else to do your hair outside of getting a relaxer. So I didn't realize that until, and I don't think my mom probably gave me a relaxer until 5, but I don't really remember before 5. So I remember going to, like, there was a place called was it like Carolina's? It was something. It was Carolina Beauty School. So I would go there. Sometimes they would give me relaxers, and my hair was like pretty. I always liked my hair, but I would get it relaxed a lot. So then transition to me going to college. So I go to college, and I think my mom relaxed my hair to deal with my hair more because me and my sister had a lot of hair. So went to college, and I was going to a salon, but it was taking like half the day when I would go in there, and that was annoying me a little bit. So I discovered a flat iron. So got a flat iron, and I had my hair colored. Megan, I by the time, in the span of like a year, my hair went from like bra strap length to like
Mhm.
maybe around her hair.
Oh,
And it
wow.
was honestly because, like you said, I wasn't aware that I needed to be putting a heat protectant on my hair, or that's a lot of chemicals to have your hair colored, and I'm having a relaxer and flat ironing it almost every other day. Like, that's just not okay. So then in 2000, I want to say 2008, 2009, that was the YouTube era in college. So like, I was heavy on YouTube, and that's when I even saw that, hey, if you don't put a relaxer in your hair, the way that your hair naturally grows, you're going to see what that is, and that's curls in some people, waves in others. But or kinkier for some other people. But I was like very fascinated to figure out what my hair would even look like without the relaxer. So went that route. I would say the YouTube era, and I'm talking about 2008, 2009, like, you remember back
Yeah.
in it was like YouTube is great now too, but it was really like the thing. Like, you could spend like hours
YouTube
on there.
University has taught me so much.
Yes, yes. And there was one girl, I feel like her name was like Crown Glory or something. I would watch her YouTube videos all the time. And I was like, oh, look at her hair. And even from there, I was like, oh, my hair should look like that. It took me about a year to transition. I didn't do like the whole big chop. And so I was like, my hair should look like that. And when I realized, I was like, my hair don't look like hers. And maybe some other YouTube things. I was like, oh, because my hair looks like my hair. So I say that that's when the journey kind of like started. And then even when I started this whole returning to my natural state of curls, I thought I was just about to wash my hair and step out the shower, and it looked great.
I do want to ask you this. With Love the Hair That You Wear, you're inspiring and helping women maintain their confidence in the hair that grows out of their head, learning the terminology to describe their hair, learning the products to take care of their hair, maintain their hair, and help them figure out the way that they're going to style it and whatnot. As a mother to both of your children have had hair journeys. You have a daughter. So how are you working with her? But then even with your son, I love little EJ and watching his videos from when he wanted to shave all his hair off like Michael Jordan, but then he grows it back. How are you focusing on inspiring the generation? Because these kids, they're not growing up with relaxers like us. And
Right.
millennial parents allow boy and girl children to express themselves with their hair at a much younger age. So, what is something that you want to make sure that you leave to the next generation of children when it comes to your hair?
Oh, that's a great question. EJ, oh my gosh. Like, I think just leading by when he sees me, and not only me, but like his father. So his father's on a freeform lock journey. It just inspires him to just, I want to do all the things. So now he wants freeform locks. So that is what we are working on. But we have to, I tell him, I'm like, yo, we have to maintain our hair. We can't just wake up and just do it. So that is a journey. So we create time and space every morning to put some products on his hair and make sure that he's taking care of his hair. My daughter Zora, she is her hair is growing, so that is something that I am going to have to figure out, because even just washing her hair, and it's a task. Okay, she does not like to be underneath the water, so I would say that's something that I'm still continuing to figure out, especially even with my hair care journey. It's like, wow, we got 3 heads that we got to shampoo and that we got to like put products on. And I know that that's only going to be more as time goes on, so that's only going to require more time. But when you say love the hair you wear, one thing that I do feel like stands out with Love the Hair You Wear, we have a segment where we have maybe a product sponsor. In the past, for instance, it's been Palmer's, or maybe it's Pattern Beauty, and we will have different hair types. And these are models, and we use the same hair products on the different hair types, and we're trying to achieve the same hairstyle. The point of conversation that always comes up, though, is that how it looks on my hair, my twist out, is going to look different than how it comes out on your hair, Megan. So I'm not ever trying to say, hey, everybody, come get this product. That's not what I'm trying to say. I am trying to give you an experience with the product, so you figure out if your hair likes it or not, because our hair is different. So what works for you might not work for me, and vice versa, and that's okay. And that's the point of conversation with Love the Hair You Wear. And we say love the hair you wear, but like I said, it's all different stages of it, because sometimes when I talk to people that come to the event in our community, sometimes you're over your hair, and that's part of this conversation too. So I like to say hair is a vehicle, but the message is deeper, and I feel like it transitions into self-care, wellness. All those things are super important throughout your journey and making you the best you. And that's what I feel like Love the Hair You Wear represents. So I hope with the next generation of children, that they are inspired to explore their hair care routine, and know that this is an extension of themselves, and that it does matter how you treat and feel about your hair, because I feel like it transitions into how you feel about yourself. So I hope with my children, and I know with my children, they feel the freedom to, especially that EJ, maybe Zora, when she gets to talking, will figure out how she feels, but her attitude is one that says like, I am going to be able to do the things that I want to do, and I feel empowered in that. And that's what I hope is happening, and then we pass to the next generation.
All right. And as we wrap up, where can we find you? Where can we find more about Love the Hair You Wear?
Okay, so the best ways to find all of the new information about Love the Hair You Wear is go to our website, LTHYW.com. So the first letters of Love the Hair You Wear. Especially if you really want to know when things drop, like when tickets drop for instance, our brunch. Subscribers are going to know about that first. So I say that before I go to any of our social media platforms. In some of our social media platforms, Instagram is probably where we update the most, is LTHYWDC. And we have a TikTok too. That's just Love the Hair You Wear. But we have interns that are helping out with Love the Hair You Wear at Love the Hair You Wear A&T, which is happening in September. And so they will definitely help with making sure that we stay more updated. So July 19th is our 10-year anniversary brunch, and then that's going to be in DC. Super excited about it. And then we're going to be back at A&T in September. We have some plans to go to some other HBCUs, but go to LTHYW.com so that you can know those plans and be in the loop of when those things happen.
Vakoria, thank you.
Thank you.